Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Fantasy Football Week 2 wide receiver start or sits. I'm basically going over a comprehensive list of my rankings, and I'm also going to be talking about 4 wide receivers that you should definitely start this week. 4 wide receivers I would suggest sitting. And before we get into that, I just want to say a couple things. Number one, if you go ahead and go to the comment section and you hit, ask me a question, please make sure that you put what kind of scoring format your league is in. Are you in a standard, half-point PPR, full-point PPR? I'd really appreciate if you can clarify that for me. Also, the big news. 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. Okay? Hold up, real quick. All right, let's pull this up close. You guys are crazy. I don't even understand how we got here. I literally sat at about, give or take, 50 subscribers for a good amount of time. And now all of a sudden, we're at 1,000. And I can't thank you guys enough. I hope you're enjoying the content. I mean, just wait till tomorrow's content. I'm letting you know right now, okay? Get ready, okay? That little bell button, go ahead and click that button. It's going to be top. It's going to be next level. It's going to be my best video yet. I'm telling you right now. This might be my best video yet. I don't know. I'm still recording it as we speak. But 1,000 people. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. What are we doing? Anyway, thank you guys. For those of you who have subscribed, supporting, liking, commenting, thank you. Appreciate it. And if you haven't already, become one of the 1,000 and help me get to. You ready? This is our goal, right? Because you got to always set the bar a little bit higher. You got to reach goals, right? That's how life works. You got to set goals, reach them, dominate, and then move on, get another goal, right? Goal number 2, okay? After we've successfully gotten to the 1,000 subscribers, we're moving on to, we're not going to get crazy, 2,500, okay? 2,500. That's my thought process. But again, thank you, everybody, for subscribing. I appreciate it beyond belief. Thank you very much, guys. Dude, I spinned so damn fast back there. I thought I was going to lose control and fall out of the chair. Oh, my goodness. All right, so the 4 starts and the 4 sits, right? So let's talk about my first 2 starts for this week. Emmanuel Sanders and Juju Smith-Schuster, okay? Emmanuel Sanders came out in week 1 with Case Keenum. I mean, looked like a stud. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous how good Emmanuel Sanders was. I thought, there is a potential that Demaryius Thomas, who's always been the number 1 wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, could just step up and continue to be that. But Case Keenum likes to spread the ball out, and he did exactly so. I'm trying to find the stats. Oh, there it is. Wait, I'm actually just blind. Do I need to clean my glasses? There we go. Emmanuel Sanders, what did you do last week? Let's see here. Ooh, baby, 10 receptions, okay? 135 receiving yards and a touchdown. My goodness. Okay. And that was against the Seattle defense, which, I mean, yes, they're a little, I wouldn't say depleted, because yes, I mean they let everybody go, right? They let Richard Sherman go, and Cam Chancellor retired. Earl Thomas still back there, but again, they're not as good as they used to be in the secondary. Up front, again, Michael Bennett not there, Sheldon Richardson not there. They still have Bobby Wagner and a couple other guys, but still a little bit of a depleted defense. Emmanuel Sanders had a day, big fantasy week. I think he's going to continue to be good this coming week. The Denver Broncos take on the Oakland Raiders, and honestly, the Raiders didn't look great secondary-wise. They had a couple opportunities, but otherwise, I think Case Keenum and Emmanuel Sanders can be a really good hookup this week. Maybe even stack them. Have a quarterback wide receiver stack this coming week. If you believe that they're going to be popping off. The other receiver on this page, Juju Smith-Schuster, right? I told you guys to start him last week because obviously, as soon as Le'Veon Bell goes down, and not goes down, but, disappears, right? James Conner's not going to catch as many balls as Le'Veon Bell would on an average week. The way I see it, Juju Smith-Schuster is the next benefactor of all those receptions. He had a great week in week 1. I think he had about 119 receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look that up in about 4, 3, 2, 1. 119 receiving yards, 5 receptions. Hey, I got it right. So Juju Smith looked good in week 1. Obviously, he's not going to get as many targets as Antonio Brown, but they're going to be playing against the Kansas City defense that let up a lot of yards to Phillip Rivers in that offense. I think Juju Smith is going to have a good week against the Chiefs this coming week, and I like the matchup, so he's a start for me. So let's move on to the next two starts at the wide receiver position. A couple guys that I think can outplay their ranking this coming week. I'll have them. You'll see my rankings in a little bit, but I think that they have a potential to outplay their rankings by a lot of slots, right? Tyler Lockett, number one. With Doug Baldwin going down with injury, who's Russell Wilson going to throw the ball to, right? Like last week when I was talking about Doug Baldwin and why you should start him, the main thing was who is Russell Wilson going to throw the ball to, right? And now that Doug Baldwin's gone and the tight end position, I don't know where that's going to go. But the only two wide receivers on this roster are Brandon Marshall and Tyler Lockett when it comes to a fantasy perspective that you would ever look into investing in. I think Tyler Lockett has a potential to step up and outplay his ranking, outplay his projection this coming week. I have him as a start against the Bears on Monday Night Football, who Aaron Rodgers was able to just dismantle in that second half. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a good week, and I like Tyler Lockett this week, right? So the last guy, speaking of Aaron Rodgers and one of his receivers, Randall Cobb, okay? They play against the Minnesota Vikings this week. It's a difficult matchup. Aaron Rodgers is most likely going to play, right? He's a GOAT, right? He's got to play. He came back in that game. Why wouldn't he play against the Minnesota Vikings? Especially when I was saying yesterday, he needs revenge. You know, Anthony Barr broke his collarbone. Maybe he needs to break Anthony Barr's collarbone. I don't know. He's got to send a message. It's all about sending a message. So Randall Cobb coming out. I think because of the fact that Devontae Adams is going to be smothered by Xavier Rhodes, right? The number one corner for the Vikings, perhaps one of the top three corners in the NFL. I think Xavier Rhodes is going to be locking down Devontae Adams, not to where he's completely inefficient, but it's going to force Aaron Rodgers to look to other receivers. Randall Cobb would probably be that next receiver, and Geronimo Allison could also take a consideration this coming week. So if you have a question on Geronimo Allison or somebody else, go to the comment section. Make sure you tell me half-point PPR, standard, or full. Anyway, so that's my last two starts of the week, Tyler Lockett and Randall Cobb. So let's go to my sits of the week, okay? Okay, I said it last week. I've said it in many videos, prepping for this season, right? Like, Amari Cooper is a question mark. We don't know what kind of Amari Cooper we were going to get come into week one. We don't know what kind of Amari Cooper we're going to get rest of season. But what I can tell you out of confidence is that if Amari Cooper is only going to be throwing the ball a couple times a game, he's not going to be very productive. I mean, nobody can honestly be productive when they're getting how many? He had one reception. Where's his targets? Let me see this. I'm curious because it's pretty ridiculous that Amari Cooper should only have one reception. I don't care who's playing corner. If he's the best receiver on your team, he should be getting the ball thrown to him. There should be plays to open up and allow him. Why is that not giving me the stat that I want to look for? Don't worry, I'm getting to it. Anyway, going against Denver's defense this week, I think it's more of last week, right? Last week he played against corners that he was comfortable playing against, right? Because he's played them in the past. He's played Aqib Talib and he's played Marcus Peters in the past because they were in his division on the Chiefs and the Broncos, right? This coming week he plays the Broncos, another group of corners that he's comfortable with, but I don't see Derek Carr being a good enough quarterback, and I don't see Amari Cooper breaking out and being productive enough to help his cause at this point. I think Amari Cooper is just subject to being benched and perhaps just starting on a bye week basis. How many targets did this man have? He had 3 targets. It took me that long. But come on. 3 targets? That's embarrassing. He's Amari Cooper, right? I understand, right? He hasn't played well in a while. And the foreseeable future doesn't look great for him. But he's a good athlete. He's a good football player, and he's a great wide receiver. The Raiders are just a mess. So he's a sit for me this week. Pierre Garçon, okay. Now, Marcus Goodwin, injured. He is, plain and simple. I don't know if he's going to play. But if Pierre Garçon ends up being the only receiver there, I don't really trust it. I would say go ahead and sit him because, well, you know what? Here's the deal, right? Pierre Garçon could be good, but will he get the opportunity? He's kind of like Cooper. If I'm not mistaken, Garçon was kind of gypped on some. Yeah, okay, here we go. He had 6 targets, 2 receptions, 21 yards last week. I mean, is that great? No. They're playing against the Vikings defense. Hopefully, he'll be able to turn it around. But otherwise, I don't really like him this week coming into the matchup. My last 2 sits, we have Sammy Watkins and we have Deshaun Jackson. Let's talk about Deshaun Jackson real quick before we go into Sammy Watkins. I want to say that Deshaun Jackson, yes, he's already battling with injury. I think he has a concussion and a shoulder injury, right? So that's probably going to hold him out. But if you were ever thinking, oh man, I got to start him, he's a monster, don't. He's really not. They're playing against the Eagles. If you thought, his speed was good in week 1, he's going to slow down. He's not going to be that good ever again. I think that's his best fantasy week for the rest of his career. You can quote me on that. I don't like Deshaun Jackson this week, and I'd leave him as a sit on the bench. Sammy Watkins. With Tyreek Hill popping off in week 1, it's pretty evident that Sammy Watkins is not going to touch the ball often. Yes, they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I honestly I want to reiterate from last week, he is going to be the 4th wide receiver option within this offense. It's going to be Tyreek Hill. It's going to be Travis Kelce. Then they're going to throw the balls to the running backs, whether it's Kareem Hunt or Spencer Ware, and only then will they look for Sammy Watkins. That's just my opinion, and that's why I have him as one of my sits this coming week. Okay, so let's get into the rankings. Now, really quick, before they start these rankings, all right, I am not an expert. I cannot 100% guarantee that this is how it'll end up next week. Actually, I can guarantee you that it won't. The scoring list, when it comes out on Monday, will not look like this, right? I guarantee you it will not look like this. But from experience, this is my best projected wide receivers for week 2. Okay, I am not an expert. I cannot guarantee 100% success. I can guarantee a good amount of success, but I'm not going to be 100% accurate. It's impossible, guys. Okay. So number 1, Antonio Brown. Pretty simple. The Chiefs' defense got scorched by Keenan Allen. Why can't Antonio Brown do the same? Boom. Number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. Playing against that Tennessee defense that was able to get ripped up by Ryan Tannehill. I think Deshaun Watson's coming back better than ever. He's got to prove something, right? He's got to prove that he is the best quarterback on the field every game. He needs to prove that he was worth the pick last year and that injury is not going to hold him back. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have more of a target share this week, and I think he'll have more of a opportunity in the red zone to catch himself a touchdown. Number 3, I got Julio Jones. I mean, it's going to be impossible to keep Julio Jones out of the top 3. To be honest, he's just a target monster, and Matt Ryan just throws him the ball. I mean, in majority of plays in last week's Thursday Night Football game, they completely look like they were all meant for Julio Jones. Matt Ryan would drop back, he'd look towards Julio, boom. He'd drop back, he wouldn't even look anywhere else, boom, towards Julio. So, I mean, Julio's just going to keep dominating despite who is playing corner on him. Michael Thomas, number 4. I mean, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, he had, 16 receptions last week. He's an animal. He's going to keep doing it. Number 5, I got Keenan Allen, playing against that Bills defense. He's going to have a good week. He's a top 5 wide receiver on a weekly basis, and I think he's going to continue to do so against that weak Bills defense that just got dominated left, right, and center. And I think the Bills, they announced that Josh Allen is going to be the starting quarterback for the Bills this coming week. Just to jog you guys' memory, last season when the Bills played the Chargers and the Bills started a rookie quarterback, Nathan Peterman, he ended up throwing 4 interceptions in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So look out for that if you're streaming the Chargers defense this week. Number 6, Odell Beckham versus the Cowboys. I mean, he was able to catch the ball 11 times and have great production versus Jalen Ramsey. So why isn't he going to, pop off against the Cowboys? I think he'll have a great week. Tyreek Hill at number 7. I I mean, he's lightning in a bottle. I don't know how they're going to be able to contain him. He's got so much speed. He does kickoff and punt returns. I mean, not kickoff returns. I think DeAnthony Thomas takes care of that. But he does punt returns. They use him as a running back. They pitch the ball to him. They do everything with him. I mean, they're going to probably run Wildcat with him this week. Just wait. But he does everything. He's an animal. I like Tyreek Hill this coming week against the Steelers defense, where Patrick Mahomes is just going to throw him the ball a bunch. Number 8, A.J. Green going against the Ravens. Tough matchup, but A.J. Green, he's a good wide receiver, plain and simple. I don't know how else I can put it besides Andy Dalton's favorite target. He's going to have majority of the target share of the Bengals. Other than A.J. Green, there's going to be a little bit of Tyler Eifert, maybe one pass to John Ross, and then the rest is Mixon. So A.J. Green's the way to go. I like him this week at my number 8. Number 9, Devontae Adams. I spoke about him a little bit earlier, saying that Xavier Rhodes might be able to lock him down this coming week. I still think he'll have great production because he's Aaron Rodgers' number 1 wide receiver, and he's a hell of a wide receiver. I think number 9 is a good spot for him this week, but there is also a potential that he dips a little bit with the idea that Randall Cobb or Geronimo Allison ends up stepping up and taking that touchdown away from him. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. Number 10, I got Stephon Diggs, and same game. It's the Packers versus the Vikings. I think it's going to be a pretty good scoring affair. 20-something, like 21, 28. Will determine the winner. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to figure it out here and there, but I like the Vikings to probably win that game. Their defense is really good, and their offense is getting there, right? They're a well-oiled machine. I like Stephon Diggs as my number 10 wide receiver, tight end, this coming week. Number 11, I got Mike Evans. I'm a little scared about this. They're playing the Eagles. I don't know if Mike Evans is, as good as Julio Jones. I know he's definitely not as good as Julio Jones, and I don't know if Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be able to survive against this Eagles D-line. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I have Mike Evans at 11. Number 12, T.Y. Hilton. Hopefully, this coming week, you'll have more receptions than Ryan Grant on his own team. He had a lot of targets this past week. That's always a good thing. Target share eventually, will break through. He had, 11 targets, 5 receptions. Yeah, there's an extra 6 balls in there that he can catch, increase his fantasy production. He had a touchdown last week. I think he'll have a pretty decent week this week. I have him at number 12. Number 13, another Viking, Adam Thielen. Another guy with a great week. He's going to have 8+ receptions. He's going to have good amount of yards. This Packers defense is not great, especially when they're going to be, pulled thin. They're going to have Stephon Diggs. They're going to have Treadwell. They're going to have Thielen out there. Maybe even Kyle Rudolph and Dalvin Cook. Everybody's receiving. There's 5 receiving threats out there potentially, and it's gonna pull this Packers defense thin comparatively to how it was pulled last week. Mitchell Trubisky's not a Kirk Cousins, and Mitchell Trubisky doesn't have any weapons that are like Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen or Kyle Rudolph in that matter. So I like Adam Thielen at 13 this week. Number 14, I have Jarvis Landry. I think if any of the receivers on the Browns are going to be successful throughout the entire season, I know a lot of people have a lot of hope for Josh Gordon to be a big play guy this coming week against the Saints defense that gave up a lot of good plays. But I like Jarvis Landry as the safer play. As a wide receiver 2 range, you see he's an upper end wide receiver 2. I think he's going to have pretty good production this coming week. I like Jarvis Landry at 14. Number 15, I got Golden Tate against the Garoppolo defense, the 49ers defense, And Golden Tate, here's the thing about this offense, right? Kenny Golladay looked really good statistically, but will Kenny Golladay be able to continue this trend of having, how many yards was that? Kenny Golladay had 7 receptions for 114 yards, right? Okay, decent. But Golden Tate, on the other hand, 7 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Golden Tate is the number 1 wide receiver. He's going to have, the fact that he caught a touchdown is great and all, but he's going to be the safe PPR play, right? Comparatively to Marvin Jones and to Kenny Golladay on this team, Golden Tate is always the safer play. and he always has that safer floor rather than the high ceiling. The ceiling is going to be dependent on touchdowns, and that's just unpredictable at some points. So I like Golden Tate at 15 this week. Number 16, I have Demaryius Thomas. Yes, I said that Emmanuel Sanders is a start, but that is because I think he can outplay his ranking, right? Demaryius Thomas this coming week versus the Raiders. I see him at 16, being a good play, plain and simple. I think Emmanuel Sanders could even be better than 16 this coming week, but I just took it easy. We'll see what happens, okay? It might be a little bit ass backward rankings, but I'm not perfect, okay, people? This is the way I see it, all right? Number 17, Juju Smith-Schuster, like I mentioned before. You know what? Maybe I messed up. Okay, here it is. We're going to audible real quick. That 16 should probably be Emmanuel Sanders. I think I messed up. My production team, they're now fired. We hit 1,000 subs. They got a little cocky. They made a mistake, and they're done now, okay? Yeah, you, right there. Yeah, you're done. Put down the lights. No, take off the headset. You're done. I don't want to see. No, you're done. Get out of here. No, you're fired. You're fired. I just told you. You're done. Yeah, go. Don't come back. Leave the keys. Embarrassing. Okay, so we're moving on to number 18, Larry Fitzgerald. He's the number one target there when it comes to catching the ball. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's going to be a wide receiver 2 all season long. He had a decent week last week, but that was late in the game. I think against the Rams, he'll have a better opportunity. I understand that the corners are good, but Larry Fitzgerald's a legend, so I like him at 18 this coming week. Let's move on to the next page. Let's try to blow through these, shall we? Brandon Cooks at 19 versus that Cardinals defense. He takes the top off the defense. If he catches one of those deep balls and they don't hold him for a pass interference, he scores. He's going to have a good week. Emmanuel Sanders at 20. Yeah. So Demaryius Thomas should probably be at 20, and Emmanuel Sanders should probably be at about 16. So just keep that in mind, guys. I fucked up. Number 21, Josh Gordon. Yes, a lot of people want him to pop off. If there is a week to do so, coming off of that terrible performance the Saints pulled off last Sunday, this is the week. Josh Gordon, you have an opportunity. I'm talking right to you, Josh Gordon. I know you're watching this video. Get it done. All right? For all of us fantasy owners, please get it done. Number 22, Corey Davis. Now, a little thing about Corey Davis. If Marcus Mariota's hurt, probably reduces his value this coming week, so just keep an eye on that. Otherwise, I like him at 22. Number 23, Michael Crabtree. Thursday Night Football versus the Bengals. He's going to be the number one target of this offense. And Joe Flacco's playing a little bit more aggressive this year. Obviously, as I said before, the fire has been lit under him, and he's going to have to continue to prove himself on a week-to-week basis. Number 24, I have Marvin Jones there. Yes, Kenny Galladay had a really good game, but it doesn't make me change my opinion on Marvin Jones as of late. Just because, the way I see it, Matt Castle came in through a pick, and then the rest of Matt Stafford's passes were just late game. Just garbage time points. I'm not into it. But there is a potential that in the coming weeks, if they start to build more of a rapport and it starts to really get somewhere, then Marvin Jones is going to start disappearing off this list. He'll progressively just get lower and lower as the weeks go by. Number 25, Kenny Stills. I'm going to be safe on Kenny Stills, right? He had, 5 receptions for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know if that kind of production is sustainable. It's kind of like a Kyle Fuller from last year, right, where he's just scoring touchdowns just ridiculous amount of touchdowns. The way I see it, be safe on him. This coming week, they're playing against the Jets. I think he's still the number one wide receiver. I think he's going to be good. As a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 is the best option for him. I like Kenny Stills. Cooper Kupp, another wide receiver 3 that I like going into this week. Proved it on Monday night that he is a main target. As soon as Jared Goff would drop back on third downs, he's looking for number 18. So I like him at 26. Number 27, Nelson Aguilar. Could have a good week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense did not look great. Therefore, I think Aguilar is going to have a better week, right? He had 8 receptions last week, but he didn't have many yards, right? I think as a wide receiver 3, he's good this week. Anything higher than that would be giving him too much credit, I think, because we don't know how efficient that offense is going to be. Again, they only scored 18 points, and they weren't great all game. About two rushing touchdowns. They weren't great. They didn't really move the ball well through the air. So I'd just be careful on them. Wide receiver 3 upside's good, though. Mike Williams, the guy going against the Bills, another Charger. Wide receiver 3 upside. I like it. Randall Cobb. Here it is, right? I have him at 29, okay? But as a start of the week, I 100% see him being able to launch himself up into a top 24 wide receiver, maybe even not top 24, like top 14 wide receiver play for week 2, okay? Someone's got to catch the ball. And if Devontae Adams is smothered, right, it's either Geronimo Allison or Randall Cobb. I think as a wide receiver 3, he's a good play this week, okay? Number 30, Allen Robinson. He didn't really look great, but then again, neither did that entire offense. Like Matt Nagy didn't get anything going to the point where it was successful. What did he have? 4 receptions, 61 yards. Not great. I think he could improve this week, but we'll just have to wait and see. I like him at number 30. Amari Cooper at 31. Quincy Enunwa at 32. Tyler Lockett. How did I mess this up? My rankings are a little messed up, okay? Again, as I said, these are not perfect rankings, okay? So this is the way I see it. Amari Cooper should not be higher than Tyler Lockett. That's got to be switched. For sure. Okay, so that's the deal. We got to switch Amari Cooper and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett 31, Amari Cooper 33. Production team has been fired. Don't worry, I took care of that a couple minutes ago. I'm telling you, they hit 1,000 subs, and they got a little cocky. We dealt with it. The situation has been dealt with. Tomorrow's video will be clean. Later, today's video on tight ends will be cleaner. Okay, it'll make sure that it'll be all set. After that, we have Chris Hogan. Had a terrible week 1. Plays against the Jaguars in week 2. It's really a toss-up on who gets that touchdown for the Patriots. Brady plays no favorites, as you could see last week. Hogan really just didn't play well, and Philip Dorsett has 7 targets for 7 receptions and a touchdown. So I'm gonna have Hogan as he's a deep play. Like if you are desperate, you can play him, but I wouldn't see him as a great receiver this week. Jamison Crowder at 35, Marcus Goodwin at 36. Those are my rankings. If you have any questions, go down below and hit up the comment section. Let me know what kind of scoring format you're in. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate everyone. Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. If you haven't yet, go down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content on a daily basis. Again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. And until next time, which is later today, that tight end video, make sure you watch that. I'll see you guys.